Congratulations, you were just asked to be a panelist, or maybe you were accepted to be a panelist in an upcoming conference that is fabulous. And this is going to do a lot of great things for your visibility. It's going to do a lot of great things for your leadership and for your business. So get ready for a nice wave of success coming your way. And be sure to celebrate yourself. Now, let's talk about the best practices to make sure that your participation on a panel is top notch and that you get invited back the next year. But more importantly, that when you walk off of that stage or you leave that panel seat, you have 100% confidence that you just kicked butt up there. And a part of kicking butt is feeling like you knew what you're going to talk about. You were organized in the way the words left your mouth. You weren't hurrying. You felt very grounded and you felt very confident and enjoyed yourself. In this video, I'm going to be giving you my top tips for how to have a great panel experience and how to contribute and be someone who is sought after as a great resource, who's someone who gets invited back, and how you can give the most value while you are on a panel. The first thing is what you're going to do before you actually speak. And that is connecting with and learning from either the event owner or the moderator of your panel. It's going to be one or the other. It's very typical that the moderator of your panel is going to be getting a hold of you to review questions, to make sure that they're asking you the things that are really pertinent and relevant to your mission. They're the things that really make you stand out and shine. And going over any pronunciations of your names, going over, okay, how much time will you have to speak? Okay, so you definitely want to make sure that you get a hold of those people. If they are not reaching out to you, make sure that you're reaching out to them, because you are going to want this information to help you settle your nerves and just give you general awareness of things like, where are we going to be meeting? What time do I need to be in the room or on that stage early? Is there a mic check? Do we even have microphones? Are we going to be on the main stage or are we going to be in the other room? How are people going to interact with me after the talk? Is there going to be a screen next to me with my face up and a QR code, for example? You want to make sure that you get those questions answered and that you understand the general flow of the panel weeks before you get on stage. Point number 2 is get a hold of the questions if you can in advance. If you know the questions ahead of time, you can practice your answers. And the purpose of practicing your answers, it may seem obvious, but it's actually about you condensing time. One of the things that people, when they're polled, like audience members, when they're polled, one of the things they say about the reasons they don't like panels is that there seems to be this rambling that happens. You want to avoid that. And one of the ways you can avoid that is by knowing the questions in advance and practicing the answers. And my tip to you, okay, my pro tip is that you practice answering your questions in a variety of ways. Why do I want you to do that? Because one of the beautiful things about a panel is that it is and can feel very spontaneous and conversation-like. And so in order to keep things conversational, you don't want to come across as rehearsed. The way that you avoid coming across as rehearsed is by practicing answering your questions in a variety of ways. Like, well, Kim, isn't it better to rehearse one way of answering a question and then I will be much more likely to answer that way? Not really. The idea is you want to practice a variety of ways of answering the question so that you are comfortable, because in that moment when the spotlight is on you and your nervous system freaks out, trust me, I've been there, you actually have a very hard time recalling information. In other words, even if you've rehearsed something, you're going to have a hard time memorizing it. However, if you've rehearsed many different entry points, many different ways of starting to answer that question, when the time comes and the pressure is high, you are going to have an entry point because you've practiced it from 10 different angles. Does that make sense? There are moments and there are panels you won't know the questions in advance. Again, if you are not being reached out to by either the event coordinator, the event owner, or your moderator, you need to advocate for yourself and get a hold of them and ask them questions. It's their job to answer it for you, so that you can do the best job possible while you're on stage. Number 3 is going to help you stand out. Do your research beforehand. Look up the other people that are going to be on the panel with you. Learn what they do and what their mission is. And if they have any previous videos of them speaking, watch them, because you want to make sure that you're not being redundant. So you can actually listen to them speak and think, okay, how am I different? How can I position myself so that I am truly unique against these panelists? Because you'll probably be grouped with other people who do similar things as you. And there's nothing more boring than the panelists going, yes, I agree. And then adding something that's just similar, but just a slightly different shade. You're like, come on, give us something new. It's not about being competitive. Please don't misunderstand that. It's not about how am I better and different. It's how can I add variety to this conversation so that the people in the audience are getting high value. And they can just make a list of all of these cool things that they've never thought of before, that they never would have thought of before, because literally everyone on the panel is adding something unique. The other thing that's going to do is separate you from the pack. And so that your core clients who are there listening can instantly learn, that's the person for me, because you separated yourself. Again, not in the spirit of competitiveness, but in the spirit of highlighting how there's so many different options out there, and that will empower your audience. Number 4 is all about audience engagement. I found a recent statistic on Kristen Arnold's website. She's a professional panel moderator. I saw somewhere on her website that when she polled audiences, she found something crazy like 80% do not like panels, yet all events have panels. One of the reasons people said that they don't like panels is because it gets boring. One of the reasons a panel gets boring is because the moderator and the panelists just stop talking to the audience. So when a speaker's up there like a keynote, they're very much saying you, and they're looking at the audience, and there's a lot of engagement. Those same things need to happen when you're in the hot seat on the panel. So make sure that you're asking people to nod their head if they agree, or wave at me if you've ever felt this way too. Asking them questions and getting them to physically move their body in compliance with something that you ask them to do, nod their head or wave their hands, they are feeling pulled into the discussion. And that right there, my friend, is going to make them love you. It is your job to connect with that audience. And on top of that, you'll know that you're doing your part in lowering that statistic so that people actually enjoy panels and they'll walk away going, my God, I felt like I was a part of the expert discussion. That was so cool. Number 5 is a biggie. Do not shamelessly self-promote. We want to have some tact here. Now, this is something that you will get to discuss ahead of time with the moderator or the event coordinator. Again, this is why it's such a big deal that you align a few times with your moderator so that you can talk about these sensitive moments. Is there going to be time for me to pitch at the end? Yes or no? Do you think it's a good idea that I sell my products and my services? Yes or no? There are going to be clear guidelines for you, so you do not need to worry about it. A lot of the times, we're not really there on a panel to sell. You can drop every now and again. In my coaching, I talk about this, or in my book, I talk about this. But of course, at the same time, we're in the business of making money. Money fuels that mission. And of course, at the heart of it, we are there to connect with the people who want to work with us. So how do we do this? Number 1, make sure you clarify with the event owner or your moderator, is it cool, is it kosher or not? If you get feedback that no selling please, then what you can ask next is, how will my information then be displayed so that people can follow up with me after the panel? Typically, a screen is next to you on stage left or stage right, and the event owner has somewhere along the way asked you for a QR code or your website, and they're going to put it into a QR code for you. Or this is a big one. You can stand at that doorway, and as everyone's leaving, you can hand out your business card or a little postcard or something that you printed out that you can hand to folks to say, this is how you can get a hold of me. And there's information on your website and social media and who you are and a QR code, right? Make sure you put a QR code on there because people can get instantly onto your webpage or your opt-in page. And listen, if you do a great job up there, which I know you will, and you sincerely speak to people and you're yourself, you will naturally attract people in. Without me even selling now on stages, I usually have a small line of people that wait for me. As soon as I get up off that microphone, they are there. They want to talk. They want to connect. They want to share what moved them. And then there's often a conversation there about next steps. So don't be afraid. If someone says absolutely no selling, no pitching, that's fine. Just trust that your people will find you. Number 6 is a little technical thing. Make sure that if there are microphones, use them. We want to be thinking about the hearing impaired community. And even though, like, I was recently speaking at a conference and we weren't in the main stage where there were microphones, but we were in a room that did not need microphones. Yes, we had no problem projecting. Yes, there is a small amount of people there, so people could hear, but I would say it still would have been really important if we had access to microphones that we should have been given them. It's not about being loud, it's about being crystal clear to everyone in the audience because we don't need people going, "Hi, I'm hearing impaired. Are there microphones?" That's so embarrassing and that's discriminatory. So we want to just assume everyone has a hearing impairment. We want to assume that people are going to be showing up that have vision impairment, right? We want to accommodate these individuals. So if you have the usage of a microphone, don't think about yourself. Don't think about, oh, I can project. It's not about you. It's about the individuals who are sitting there that are hearing impaired. The other reason is about you. It's a really beautiful thing in an intimate moment. It can make an intimate moment out of a big moment. So if you got a big stage and you have a booming voice, so what? Use the microphone because it'll allow you to lower the tone of your voice or the volume of your voice and to speak in a softer way that allows that big audience of 500 plus people to feel like it's just you and them. And that can do a lot to shift energy and perspective because they're going to get a feeling in their body of, oh, this is probably how it's like and how it feels to work with them one-on-one or in a private container. So use those microphones. Another point is if you are speaking the next day or the next weekend, or you're speaking on stage and then moderating a workshop, you want to save your voice. And again, a microphone can help with that. Number 7 is a little bit of a pet peeve for myself. Try not to move around too much when you're up there. I've only learned this the hard way by watching myself in a playback of video. And sometimes when someone else is being asked a question, they're answering, yes, the attention might be on that person. But if you're over here and your legs are crossed and you're just shaking your foot, because let's face it, we're all nervous, right? There is a level of adrenaline and energy that we have to learn how to subside and anchor with breath inside of our bodies so that we don't nervously tap our fingers or nervously wag our foot, because what that's doing is it's distracting the audience's eyes because they can see movement with the periphery. It can also read as impatience as well, which, think about that. You know, you want to show that you're in support of your comrades up there, like everyone in this together on the panel, and here's your nervous foot just a wagging away. When you're talking, nervousness, extra excessive hands, things like this can also make you look nervous. So do make sure that you're doing embodiment work before you get on stage so that you can drop into a place of steadiness and anchored energy, which will allow your body to not shake so much, move so much, or fidget while you're there on the panel. Number 8, at least I hope this is number 8. I've kind of lost count. Be a support system for other people that are up there on the panel with you. Support with applause. If someone just had a mic drop quote, you can start applauding and the audience will follow suit because you are in that position of authority because you got the microphone in your hands and you're sitting up there on a stage. But this also shows that you are not in competition, but camaraderie. For example, on the recent panel I was on, the woman to the right of me had written a book and the book was behind her over her shoulder. I noticed that earlier and it was lying down and I didn't lift it up to show off the cover just yet until she started talking about the book. And I thought to myself, this is the perfect moment to help this fellow queen out, right? And just help women helping other women shine. I reached back and I lifted her book up and I kind of did like a show and tell thing. And she jokes, she goes, oh yeah, that book right there. And I held it up. This is how we support one another. We help each other out because in those moments, it's really about helping show support and togetherness for the community at large. The more we support each other, the more each one of our brands and businesses thrive. That also means after the talk is done, which brings me to my 9th point. It's just as equally as important that you have good manners and you're professional after a talk. Sometimes you got to get off stage quickly and there's another panel that's going to be coming on, or they got to clear the stage off to get ready for the next act to come up. It's important that you follow the cue of your moderator. You're going to get off stage or you're going to move stage right or stage left and let people do what they need to do to change over the event furniture or whatever. Just make sure that you're out of the way and stand there for a little bit to thank people. I make it a point to go up to my audience members, make eye contact, thank them for coming. When you do that, you are really showing that you know that you are a part of the whole show. It's not just about you, but that you recognize that you are there representing the event host, representing the moderator, representing everyone else that's on the panel. So imagine that if everyone had that mentality, and everyone who was a panelist got off and sort of like flooded the audience with handshakes and high fives and hugs. And what was the best part for you? And could you hear us okay? Like, we'd love feedback. And this way you can be the one that goes to the event owner saying, you know, I hung out and talked with the crowd and they said there was a pop or there was some sort of crack with the microphone. So just wanted to give you that feedback for next time. Or they loved the slide deck that you have up. That was very helpful. Feedback. Have it for next time. So this way you are showing off the helper side of you while also simultaneously connecting with the audience members and showing that you're really there for them, not for you. Hang out for several minutes after the talk. Be available. And number 10 has to do with honesty, really, and authenticity. Sometimes in a panel discussion, you will have universal questions thrown your way, and you have a limited amount of time on that panel. I want you to think about being okay with not answering a question. This asks you to really get into abundance energy and abundance mindset. Some of the questions, if they don't light you up to answer, say pass or just lean back from the microphone. You can also use your gaze to just pass the question to another person. You don't even have to announce, no, I don't feel like answering this. This helps to speed things along. It also helps you to not be a mic hog because your audience might get actually sick of hearing you talk. So for those universal questions, if you don't know them in advance and it doesn't sound like something that you feel comfortable answering, don't. Skip it, because the last thing you want to do is attempt to answer something that you feel lukewarm on, because your answer is going to be lukewarm in energy. And you don't want to start to spiral up there just BSing just to fill the silence because you feel like you have to talk. I'd much rather encourage you to wait and trust that there will be a question that's right there for you. All right, and I'm going to give you a bonus 11th point here, okay? Wow, we went all the way to 11 on this. I hope you're loving this. Let me know in the comments below. Are you enjoying this? Do you want me to make more content like this? Let me know in the comments. And which one has been your favorite so far? This last point is about succinctness. I want you to start to think about your answers to the universal questions that everyone gets asked and even the specific ones that are right for you, either from the moderator or from the audience. Think of answering these like you would speak in a reel. Remember back in the day when reels on Instagram were just 60 seconds long? I want you to answer in 60 seconds. Get used to speaking succinctly. Get used to getting to the point faster. Get used to hooking. Get used to sharing your big ideas in a very small amount of time. You don't have a lot of time when you're on a panel, so this is a very good skill. Your moderator is going to love you for it because you're not a rambler. This allows them to get to the next person. It allows you to share the stage time, but it also helps your audience members to remember, because chances are most people are going to be very long-winded because they don't have this video and they're not thinking like you are. They're not learning like you are right now. Because they're long-winded, it's just going to go right over audience members' head. And then you come in and you're nice and punchy. You're nice and succinct. You've got a smile on your face and you are sharp and you are efficient. They are going to remember you. So what is the best way to start to work the muscle of 60-second responses? Making reels, of course. I want you to really consider that the only way to get better at being a panelist, the only way to do this really efficiently and be memorable, is to practice now before you're on your next panel by making more content. There's no better way to start practicing the succinct use of your voice than by making content. So go live, try to compress your thoughts, try to compress your words. The more you can compress it and make a reel that's just 60 seconds long, yes, it's going to be hard. In some cases, it's torture because you're an expert. You know so much. You can talk for hours and days about this. Great. But no one has the patience for that. And in a panel, that is not the appropriate place to do that. If you can get used to and work the muscle and the skill of 60-second responses, you are going to kill every panel that you're on, and you will absolutely be invited back to the next one, which is a huge goal and a result that you should be aiming for, my friend. Okay, that's certainly not the exhaustive list of great do's and don'ts on a panel, but that's plenty to get you started. I just know that when you go through this list and really take this in and practice these skills, you are going to soar on the next panel. And if you are thinking, okay, well, these skills are great, Kim, and I appreciate the practicalities, but I'm really nervous about it, then I want you to just check out the links below. I have my 5 mini masterclasses that I bundled all together for you so that you can execute, speak, present, and have the presence of confidence and ease while you communicate. And plus, there's a couple other bonus goodies in there about overcoming procrastination and visualization so that you can re-script your mind for being that authentic, incredible speaker right now. So go ahead and click below and get that bundle, and I'll see you inside. Thanks so much, guys. I'll see you in the next video.